Welcome to Taizé this Holy Week 2021. I speak to you from St. Stephen's Spring. It is here in the last years that we brothers and the visiting pilgrims have gathered to celebrate Palm Sunday. Easter, because of its link to Jewish Passover, is celebrated at the first full moon of the springtime. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, these festivals always coincide with the renewal of the natural world. Trees are coming into leaf. The woods are full of flowers and wild garlic. Some animals are waking up after their winter hibernation. Spring is a time of hope for new beginnings. Like many churches, we initiate our Palm Sunday service with a procession that represents Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. It seems that this practice is very old and dates back to the beginning of the 4th century. The idea is that we should not be simple bystanders, watching from the side, but participants walking with the disciples and the donkey, literally following Jesus into Jerusalem. Jesus is going to Jerusalem to celebrate Pesach, the Passover, a remembering, a reliving of the exodus of the children of Israel from Egyptian slavery, the beginning of their road to freedom. Let us hear the story as told by Luke.
When Jesus had finished saying all this, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. As they came close, as near as Bethany and Bethphage, at the place called the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of the disciples on ahead. "Go into the village over there," he said, "and as you arrive you'll find a colt tied up, one that nobody has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you untying it?' you should say, 'Because the master needs it.'" The 2 who were sent went off and found it just as Jesus said to them. They untied the colt, and its owner said to them, "Why are you untying the colt?" "Because the master needs it," they replied. They brought it to Jesus, threw their cloaks on the coat, and mounted Jesus on it. As he was going along, people kept spreading their cloaks on the road. When he came to the descent of the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began to celebrate and praise God at the tops of their voices for all the powerful deeds they had seen. "Welcome, welcome, with a blessing," they sang. "Welcome to the King in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory on high." Some of the Pharisees from the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell your disciples to stop that." "Let me tell you," Jesus replied. "If they stayed silent, the stones would be shouting out."
In Luke, just before our text, Jesus has taken his disciples aside and explained to them, "Look, we are going to Jerusalem. I will be handed over to the pagans, will be mocked, abused, and spat upon, killed, and on the 3rd day be raised." But the 12 could make nothing of this. They didn't know what he meant. Palm Sunday is a difficult festival. We hear the singing, cheering, and laughing of the crowd, but we know something of the darkness that lies ahead. The entry into Jerusalem in such a visible, joyful, crowd-gathering way is one last appeal, a very courageous act of defiance. Defiance to the occupying Roman power, who are already on high security alert because of the coming festival. Defiance to his own people's religious authorities. There was already a price on Jesus' head, The chief priests had given order that if anyone knew where he was, they should tell them so that they could arrest him. Jesus comes to Jerusalem riding on a donkey in fulfillment of Zechariah's prophecy of the coming peaceful kingdom, and in so doing announces judgment on the political system and the city. Donkeys in Jesus' Israel were not lowly beasts. They were considered noble because of all the work they did. Only in war did kings ride upon a horse. When they came in peace, they came riding on a donkey. This king on the donkey is not just history. It's a story which touches on the decisions we ourselves have to make today. Who or what is the occupying foreign power in my life, which hinders me from being a free man or woman? It might not be a military force. It could be a question of economics. Rome was interested in the Middle East for surprisingly similar reasons First World powers need it today, for its raw materials. Today it's oil, then it was grain. The Roman Empire needed its colonies to provide grain shipments to feed the ever-growing population of Rome. It might be big tech companies who make their products as addictive as possible to maximize the time we spend staring at a screen, which can lead us to live in parallel universes with radically different views on global warming, race, gender, immigration, and so many other questions. Which things from my own culture and people can hinder me from following the king on his donkey? The search for identity and belonging can often be hard, and we can end up asking ourselves, who do others want me to be? This can lead us to being manipulated in partisan struggles, and often to racism towards those who are different from us. Everything becomes a question of them and us. Political polarization. Throughout the Exodus story and the pilgrimage of the people of Israel in the desert, God remained free and sovereign. Jesus on his donkey also remains free, losing nothing of his integrity despite all the oppositions around him. There is even a spirit of festival. The disciples resemble volunteers at a summer festival, each with an attributed task to carry out. Collect the donkey, spreading coats on the road, leading the singing. It should not surprise us that God has chosen to do much work here on earth through us, his children. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. See, your king comes to you. He is the good king who won the victory, gentle and riding on a donkey. Some of the Pharisees from the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell your disciples to stop doing that." And his answer is very interesting. If they stayed silent, the stones would be shouting out. In this spring season, very often, it seems that all created things are praising God in their colors and exuberant growth. Lord, teach us to contemplate you in the beauty of the universe, for all things speak of you. Awaken our praise and thankfulness for every being that you have made.